From the heart of Statesboro and straight down the Blue Mile, this is the Blue Mile Breakdown, your weekly dive into Georgia Southern football. Now here's your host, Brendan Sapp, Hail Southern and GATA.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Blue Mile Breakdown. This is episode 10, long awaited, long delayed, and I can do nothing but apologize. So, these last 7 days have been quite a journey, and I'm going to try to walk you through why we are at least a week late on this. So I started last Sunday after the selection show. I started filming this episode, and I was talking about the playoff bracket, who was in, who was out, how I felt about it, how a few fan bases felt about who should have been in and who shouldn't have been in. And the usual suspects were on the crybaby list. Always worried about somebody else instead of themselves. But anyway, I recorded that part, and I was waiting to find out who in the heck Georgia Southern was going to be playing in the bowl game, because somehow we got screwed and put to the back of the line. Teams like Delaware, who should not have even gotten to play in a bowl game, They got to play in a bowl game because there wasn't enough eligible bowl teams. Delaware was not eligible as a first-year FCS team. They got placed in a bowl game before Georgia Southern did. And that really ticked me off. And I'm still mad about it, especially because we ended up with App State. I feel like that's like, well, nobody cares who Georgia Southern plays anyway. Just call App State, let them play App State again. Who cares? That's what it feels like to me. Now, will it be great to beat App State twice in the same year? Yeah, we hadn't got to do that in a long time. This is like FCS days. So that'll be great. But to me, it feels like nobody cared, and we got stuck with that. But anyway, I'll talk about that later. So as I'm waiting on the news doesn't break till late. I'm already in bed. But Monday was hectic between work and my daughter. They had a basketball game that afternoon. So by the time I got home, again, it's extremely late. I'm tired. I'm like, you know what? I'll finish it tomorrow, being Tuesday. So I wake up Tuesday morning to probably some of the worst pain that I've ever felt in my life in my eye. I'm not going to say I have never felt worse pain, because I have. I've had my knee bent the wrong way, and I've had kidney stones to the point of having to have surgery for them. So I've definitely known a worse pain, but not in my eye like that. That was the first time I'd ever experienced anything like that. So me being stubborn, the first thing I do is I get up, I take a handful of Tylenol. Not a handful. I took a couple. I'm not an idiot. And I went to my bathroom with a flashlight and some Visine, because I'm convinced something's in my eye, and I'm going to find it. I'm going to get it out. So I did the best I could on my own. I couldn't see anything in there, but it's kind of hard to see your entire eye. You know what I mean? So the Tylenols kind of eased the pain a little bit, which kind of threw me for a loop, because I'm like, if this is my eyeball, how is Tylenol? Anyway. So I dealt with it all day. So me being stubborn, I'm like, you know what? We're just going to let it ride. We'll worry about it later today. Anyway, so that's what I did. And I alternated Tylenol and ibuprofen all day long, about every 2 hours, just to make it bearable. Just left my eye closed all day. I couldn't open it. It was hurting too bad. So about 8:30 that night, I've had enough. I can't take any more, and the ER seems to be the only option. So my middle daughter decided to ride with me, so I wouldn't have to go by myself. My son still needed to get a shower and get in bed and stuff, and my wife, I was like, don't worry about going with me. Make sure the kids are taken care of. I can do this on my own. I'll be fine. So my middle daughter goes with me just so I'm not alone, and in case I need somebody to drive me home. And I left the ER about 4 o'clock the next morning. The doctor's first thought was not eye related. He thought maybe I had a blocked blood vessel, maybe an unruptured aneurysm. And you start hearing things like that, and you're like, holy crap, I should have been here 12 hours ago, So they did CT scans with and without contrast. Everything looked normal. So he referred me to an ophthalmologist. After we discovered, I'm jumping around here. After we discovered that the pain was worse if I tried to focus on something within like a 1.5 foot distance or closer to my face. If I try to focus on that with my left eye, it literally felt like separation was happening inside my head. It's terrible, but that's how it felt. It hurt. So he refers me to an ophthalmologist, sends me home with some meds and stuff, and I call the ophthalmologist because he's telling me it could be glaucoma. I'm like, glaucoma? I'm 42 years old. I shouldn't be going blind. What's going on here? So I get up. I make the call to the ophthalmologist. Very nice young lady answered the phone, and I talked with her for about 5 minutes. She gets all my insurance information. She's lining me up for an appointment. She puts me on hold for a minute. I'm on hold for about 5 minutes, and a different lady answers the phone, and she asks, what am I on hold for? And I told her, and she said, well, we're not taking on new customers. Click. Or patients. We're not taking on any new patients. Click. Hangs the phone up. So I have to find another ophthalmologist to go to just to rule out glaucoma or to start treatment for it. Either way, I still need to see an ophthalmologist. But the one he referred did not care to see me. So anyway, dealing with that all the way through. It's still bothering me. I can't focus on my left eye. I don't know if you guys can see my eye good enough, but I'll have it closed a lot during this show. It's how I'm functioning right now. But on the back end of all of this, I wake up and I have no voice. My ears are hurting. I've got all the symptoms of a common cold. So now we're dealing with that. And it's been a fun 7 days. Normally for me, December is like, all right, it's December 1st. We got 23 days to make sure everything's in order for Christmas. And then you wake up the next morning and it's Christmas Eve. You had no time. This year, because of this week really felt like a month. And I still feel loopy. I feel out of it. I feel like I'm missing something, if that makes sense. But anyway, I'm blessed to be here. Blessed to see another day, and it's a good day. Before I even talk about playoffs and bowls and all of that, huge announcement out of Statesboro earlier tonight. I'm excited because I can remember when Mike was here with Fritz. Mike Mutz is announced as the new defensive coordinator for our Eagles. I'm excited to get him back in here. I'm excited. Because I've kept track of his career. I've known his wife Melissa for some years, and we were friends when they lived here, and so we've remained Facebook friends. So I've kind of watched Mike's journey from behind the curtain over the last 10 years, and I'm excited that he's coming back here as our defensive coordinator. Just a couple quick stats I'll throw out there to people who don't know who Mike is. Mike has been the defensive coordinator at Stephen F. Austin in the FCS for the last 3 years. His defense has been ranked in the top 3 all 3 years. He's been over it. They led the nation in sacks and tackles for loss this year. How about this for tackles for loss? 122 for a loss of 450 yards. He had 9 defensive players named all-conference this year. And he was also a finalist for FCS Coordinator of the Year, which is a pretty big deal. There's a lot of coordinators in the FCS. There are a lot of teams in the FCS. So you're a finalist for the coordinator of the year. I mean, you are literally one of the best coordinators there. And this is what I was hoping for. This is literally what I was hoping for. I kept saying, bring somebody up from the FCS. And it's what we're doing. And I'm really excited because Mike has the knowledge. Mike has the brain for this job. He's got experience for this job. And he's proven at this job. When he was here, we went 18-7. And a couple of those losses shouldn't have happened. I mean, like, we got screwed out of it. Like the Georgia Tech game where they called the forward pass a fumble. And I won't even get into the Georgia game where the whistle blew and the punter fumbled the ball, or the punt returner fumbled the ball. He was also on our defensive staff in that game, which made Georgia look ridiculous compared to how they had run over everybody in the SEC. Our defense held strong, but so there's out of that 7 losses while he was here, I could name 4 of those games that were absolute BS. They did not want the new up and comer to beat these established schools. And then the Georgia State game when Fritz announced he was leaving, I mean, we'd all like to forget that one. But when they left and went to Tulane, I mean, if you guys have kept track of anything that's happened in the last 10 years of college football, you know what a turnaround they made at Tulane, and basically built the team that just got that coach hired by Florida. These SEC schools are pretty stupid for overlooking Fritz so much, but you know, it is what it is. And you can see by Mike's statistics that Fritz surrounding himself with great coaches, great coordinators as well. But they parted ways when Fritz went to Houston, and Mike took the defensive coordinator position at Stephen F. Austin, and has just been on a roll there, man. Been on a roll, and we're excited to get him back in Statesboro, and I hope that, you know, he comes in and this is a talented defense. It truly is a talented defense, and that was the biggest crime to me with Brandon Bailey was this defense would play 1 week like they were a top 5 defense in the country, and then play the next week like they were the bottom-ranked middle school defense in the state of Georgia. I mean, like, you can't make this up. It was so bad. So the talent level is there. The talent is there on the defense. We just gotta, unlock it. And I can't think of a better coach to come in and get this thing straight, get this defense playing where they should be. I was kind of hoping Applin would be looking for a new job too. Unfortunately, he's not. But I guess that is what it is. All right, so while we're talking Georgia Southern and we're talking the future, we're talking Coach Mike Mutz coming back to be our defensive coordinator. Extremely excited about that. Cannot wait to see what he does with this team. We got to talk about this bowl game. And you guys got to let me wet the whistle real quick. Whew. So this bowl game, I'm not excited about it. The bowl itself it's a pretty good bowl game. It's got a really good payout, and it's normally SEC. Georgia Tech and Vandy played there last year. There's normally an ACC, AAC, or SEC school involved in this bowl game. So, for us to get a chance to play in this bowl game is great. Then nobody else wanted to play in this bowl game with us. So we ended up with Appalachian State, 5-7, App State. Ugh. I don't know, man. I'm not happy that we're playing Appalachian State. The bowl games are supposed to be exciting. Supposed to get to play a team you might never play in any other way. There may never be another scenario where you play this team. And We drew somebody that we've played every year for the last 30 plus years. I'm not excited. I'm sorry. Not excited about it. I am excited Georgia Southern got their bowl game. I'm excited for the kids because they get to play one more time. See what I did there. But, God, it could have been anybody else. Really? I guess the best way to look at it is we get an additional few weeks to hate App State. We get 52 weeks a year to hate App State. Make it 53 with hate week. So I guess we're going 54, 55 weeks to hate App State this year. So that's the only positive I could take away from it. The other positive is we beat them earlier this year with a garbage defensive coordinator and a garbage offensive coordinator, if you want my true opinion. We were golden. We were money between the 20s in that game and could not score in the red zone and almost lost that game. If you remember that, it wasn't a fun game. We looked god-awful, and we ended up winning by 2 points. So I'm not excited at all to be rematching a game we barely escaped with our lives. But honestly, I don't know who we could have beaten this year. I mean, we were looking at teams like Mississippi State and Florida State. I mean, even at 5-7, I don't know if we could have beat them this year. But anyway, it is what it is. We're going to play App State December 29th on ESPN on the flagship, baby. On the flagship. I believe that's a 2 p.m. kickoff. Let's check that. So it's the J-Lab Birmingham Bowl, obviously in Birmingham, Alabama, at Protective Stadium. Monday, December 29th, 2025 at 2 p.m. Eastern, and it will be on the flagship. It will be on ESPN. So we hope that most everybody can make the trip. We won't be able to make the trip. My daughter has I believe, region basketball game that day. Maybe not, but so we won't be able to make the bowl game, but we will be watching. And I don't know, man. Like I said, it's hard for me to get excited about playing App State again, but it is what it is. And hey, we're going bowling, right? And we're bowling against a team we've already beaten this year. So stranger things have happened, I guess. Guys, before we shift gears real quick, I want to take a pause to tell you about G Fuel Energy, G Fuel Hydration. Take it away.
Fuel your grind, power your play, and stay locked in with G Fuel Energy. When the game gets intense, hydration is everything. That's why I choose G Fuel. Zero sugar, zero caffeine, packed with electrolytes, antioxidants, and vitamins. Whether I'm streaming, grinding rank, or just powering through my day, G Fuel keeps me focused and fueled. G Fuel, G Hydration, stay fueled, stay unstoppable. Go to gfuel.com and use my promo code BrendanSapp157 at checkout.
So as I was saying at the top of the podcast, Crybaby Nation has shown up in full force after the announcement of the college football playoff bracket. Notre Dame, of course, being left out. Join a conference. That's all I'm even going to say about Notre Dame. Stop crying. Join a conference. You know, I'm pretty sure everybody in Ireland's looking at you going, please change their name. Because the Irish are not weak crybabies. They wouldn't take their ball and go home because they didn't get their way. Notre Dame, you're weak. Your coach is weak. Your AD's weak. Grow a set and join a conference. Moving on from Notre Dame. Alabama, 3 losses, and they're in. My God. You would have thought they gave Alabama the number 1 seed. You really would have thought it. Okay, so a year ago, we tell Alabama they're not in because we can't penalize SMU because they played in their conference championship game and lost it. And Georgia fans rejoiced. Fast forward a year, and they're telling Notre Dame, you're not getting in, Alabama's in. We cannot penalize them for losing their conference championship game. And you would have thought that they said Alabama's the number 1 seed. By the way, these Georgia fans reacted. Georgia fans reacted. Are you scared to play Alabama a third time? Because the only way you're going to see them is if you both make the national championship game. And you're going to sit there and say they don't belong, they're garbage. Well, your 1 loss was to them, by the way. 2, if you think they don't belong in their garbage, why are you worried about it? they shouldn't make it to the national championship game, right? You shouldn't have to see them again. Just wondering why 2-7 Kirby Smart against Alabama. Wondering why that fan base is so concerned with Alabama. It's really weird. It truly is weird. Anyway, moving on from there. The other spark of controversy, James Madison at 12-1, Sun Belt champions, sealing up the number 12 spot. Tough row to hoe because they drew Oregon. I don't think James Madison makes it out of the first round, but it's exciting to see Sun Belt represented in this playoff. It really is. Tulane in as well. So 2 group of 5 schools. That's everybody's other crybaby gripe. Notre Dame got left out for 2 group of 5. Go join a conference. Go join a conference. Go join a conference. Then if you lose your conference title game, you can say, well, hey, Alabama didn't get penalized. And then if you win your conference, you can go, hey, I'm a conference champion. I should be in. Till you join a conference, shut up. It's not 1934, Notre Dame. It's not 1934. Join a conference or shut your mouth. It's as simple as that. And everybody's saying these G5 schools don't belong. Why go 12-1? Why kill yourself all season to win your conference and try to have a perfect record if you don't get a seat at the table? What's the point? Guys, right now I'm going to take a quick pause to tell you about Gamer Advantage eyewear. Go to gameradvantage.com. Use the promo code BrendanSapp157. Take it away. Hi, Brendan Sapp here, better known in the streaming community as Brendan Sapp157. I'm here today to talk to you about Gamer Advantage glasses. Before I discovered Gamer Advantage eyewear, gaming was taking a toll on my eyes. Long hours staring at a screen left me with constant eye fatigue, dry eyes, and restless nights. I was tired, frustrated, and frankly, losing my edge. But then I found Gamer Advantage. These glasses aren't just any gaming glasses, they're a game changer. With their state-of-the-art blue light technology, Gamer Advantage glasses filter out all the harmful blue light that's been keeping you up at night. No more eye strain, no more dry eyes, just clear vision and a great night's sleep. Now, I wake up refreshed, ready to take on any challenge, whether it's IRL or in the game. If you care about your eyes, whether you're a gamer, programmer, or anyone who spends time in front of a screen, I highly recommend Gamer Advantage eyewear. Protect your eyes, perform at your best. Gamer Advantage. See the game, save your eyes. And I'm going to tell you how I really feel about college football playoffs. I think they're garbage. I think they're trash. I think we need to remove the media from saying who is and who isn't the best team in college football. I think it needs to be merit-based. I think that the model is already there, perfectly displayed, without controversy every year. You know, there's a reason that the D3, D2, and FCS national champions get a legitimate NCAA trophy, right? And the FBS doesn't. They get a BS knockoff Lombardi trophy awarded to them by the College Football Playoff Committee because it's not an NCAA sanctioned playoff. It's not a real playoff. It's an invitational of media darlings. And when media darlings like Notre Dame doesn't get in, then we get crying. And then an underdog like JMU or Tulane makes it, we get crying. And when somebody who's dominated college football for the last 15 years gets in with 3 losses, we get crying. Here's how you solve the problem. You model the FCS. You bring a 24-team playoff. All 10 conference champions are in. That gives you 14 at-large spots. Then you fill it in with your Ole Misses and your Alabamas and your Oklahomas and your Miamis and your Texas A&Ms, your Oregons, your teams that weren't conference champions that were still good. 14 at-large bids. That gives you more than the entire bracket gives you now. But let's do away with the media getting a decision in this. When you look at who gets to rank the top 25, when you see who gets a vote in that and what a joke it is, then you can look at this and go, yeah, this is pretty stupid. There's no reason whatsoever that a chick who has been covering football for a year, never played the sport, obviously, doesn't know anything about the sport. She has a nice little piece of paper from college saying she can be a sports broadcaster. Why does she get to vote on who the best team in the country is? Make it make sense. You can't. You can't defend it. You can't make it make sense. And I'm not being sexist when I say this. She has no business voting on that. The guy sitting beside her, he has no business voting on this either. The FCS uses current ADs. It is a group of athletic directors for conferences that are competing in the thing. All right, so bring one athletic director from every conference in the FBS, and they get to pick the 14 at-large teams. The top 10 teams are done. It's a set deal. And it's merit-based. You won. All right, Georgia, what are they, 12-1? SEC champions. All right. Indiana's 13-0. Obviously, that's going to be your number one team. Your top 4 probably seed out about the same way. But then your number 5 is JMU. Your number 6 is Tulane. And then you've got your 7, 8, 9, 10 from those other conferences. And you take your at-large bids, and that's what the current athletic directors vote on, is what order they play in. And you take your 24 teams, it's a 5-week playoff. So had it started this weekend that we're in right now, your national championship game would have been played January 9th. So you're not adding any time to the football season. You're not taking away any time. What you're actually doing is keeping football happening every weekend until the championship game on a Saturday. National championship game on a Saturday. The way college football is intended to be played. Not at 9 o'clock on a Monday night, so ESPN can get some more ad revenue. If you really want a true college football playoff, copy the FCS model, take the media out of the voting, and put the 24 best teams by merit in. You should be in for winning your conference, period. Now, do I think a 8-5 Duke team stands a chance against a 12-1 Georgia? No. But they won their conference. Miami's still in. They're an at-large team. You know? So it doesn't take away from Miami. But you know what? Speaking of Duke, basketball powerhouse Duke, I bet nobody thought Mercer was going to beat them in the March Madness a few years ago. But they did. I bet nobody had Coastal Carolina, a lowly FCS school at the time, winning the college baseball World Series a few years ago. But they did. So, don't tell me it can't happen. But it is kind of funny to me, and I'm going to leave you with this thought. In every college sport, the Cinderella team, your JMU, your Tulane, everybody rallies around them. Oh, man, we want to see this team win. Wouldn't that be so cool if this team that come out of nowhere won? And then when it comes to college football, you give them the middle finger and tell them they don't belong. You guys make me sick. Not all of you. I love you guys, but the people who think like that make me sick. But anyway, I digress from that, and I digress from this podcast because I still feel like crap. My eye's not working correctly, and it's all I can do to speak right now. I've ran through 3 cups of tea during this podcast. That's some behind the scenes magic. You didn't see how many times I cut. But anyway, here's the last word of advice to everybody crying on social media. Shut up. Nobody cares. And no matter how hard you cry, nothing's going to change. And to the college football playoff committee, you're fired. NCAA, take this thing over. Take it over like you should have done 30 years ago. Make it a real championship. Get rid of this stupid format and these stupid people and the stupid media, because I guarantee you're going to make just as much money by putting more playoff games on TV. And I'm going to say it, do away with some bowl games. Just do away with them. After what happened to Georgia Southern this year, do away with the bowl games. Those ridiculous bowl games. Do better. Let's do better. When we have to go scraping around for 4 and 8 teams to play in a bowl game, something's wrong. And the system's broken, and it needs to be fixed. But the big system that needs to be fixed right now is this playoff. Scrap this entire format. Scrap this playoff committee. Scrap the entire media voting system. Let them have their stupid, meaningless top 25 poll where they're going to overrank Notre Dame like they do every year as a top 4 team preseason. Then they're going to lose 3 games, and they're still going to have them in the top 12, only for them not to make their stupid playoff. It happens every year, y'all. Every single year. So I leave you with this thought. Fix this playoff. Do it the right way. Make it a real playoff. Let the NCAA take it over. Do away with ESPN being in charge of things. And let's get back to some good college football. Let's get back to some good college football because I don't know. I'm tired of this format. And it's not because teams I like or dislike are getting left out or being put in. It's just because it's a failed format. It's still an invitational. It's not. You should know whether you're in the playoffs or not 3 weeks before the playoffs start. You shouldn't have to watch a selection show to see if you got picked. That's just stupid. This is the only sport that this crap happens in. And it's the only level of this sport that this happens in. In the NFL, they know the playoffs weeks in advance. Division 3, 2, FCS. They know the playoffs weeks in advance. This stupid, dramatic show that tells people where they play. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's time for it to end. And it's also time for this podcast to end. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the Blue Mile Breakdown. I'm Brendan Sapp. Till next time, GATA and Hell Southern.
This has been the Blue Mile Breakdown, brought to you in part by Gamer Advantage Eyewear and G Fuel Energy. Make sure to tune in next time as we dive deep into Georgia Southern football.